This is 7 things you might not know about Mafia 3. Hello everybody, my name is Taylor and welcome back to 2K Central with another video. This one is 7 things that you might not know about Mafia 3. I'm going to give you quick little bits of information that will inform you of the 7 different things, so I hope you enjoy. First up, the districts. Now in Mafia 3, the city of New Orleans is divided into 7 different districts. Now you raid hideouts, you kill high up gangsters and take out competition in order to be at the top of the food chain and control all the districts. Once you control a district, you assign one of 3 lieutenants to it who will try to maintain the area for you. That leads me on to the next thing you might not know, the lieutenants' skill trees. So the lieutenants have been described to be like living skill trees. So if you know anything about skill trees, you know that you can either go broad or go deep. Go deep. Anyway, so if you really want to go deep on a skill tree, you've got to give everything to one mobster. Well, that's going to leave the other 2 guys unhappy, but if you want to go broad and keep them all happy, you can. But you might not get the best final reward that Vito has to offer because you haven't given him enough stuff to get to that final reward. I really like that. Third thing is the Italian antagonist. Now for those people that didn't take English class, the antagonist is the bad person. So the protagonist is the main person, the antagonist is the main bad person. This time the Italians are the bad people. In Mafia 1 and Mafia 2, you played Italians. They were the good people for you. Whereas now, in Mafia 3, the Italians are the people that you're trying to take out for the entire game. It's kind of confusing, but I like the change. Fourth thing is that Mafia 3 is tied to the previous game. So like Mafia 1 and Mafia 2's idea of moving forward in time, Mafia 3 will be the same. So that's why the developers decided to put it in the 60s. They also added Vito into the story to tie it back to Mafia 2 to make it feel like one cohesive universe. But don't worry, they said you do not have to go back and play the previous Mafias to understand Mafia 3. It will be a separate story. It has also been said that they reference other characters in other events and that there will be some other surprises along the way for fans of the franchise. Maybe Joe, maybe Playboy magazines. Oh god, please bring back the magazines. The fifth thing is that the way you play the game actually affects the storyline, believe it or not. It's one of those games. What it was described to be like is that you could go into a drug den, guns blazing and blow the place up, or you could go in stealthily and no one would know you were there. That actually affects some dialogue throughout the game here and there. It might not affect the entire main plot line, but it will affect little parts of the story, which I like. It adds that little bit of personalization to the story. The sixth thing is the events that happened during the 60s. So during the 60s, the Vietnam War is going on, and we know that Lincoln actually fights in the Vietnam War. This will affect him because obviously he's going to have amazing gun skills and he's going to be brutal and tough. Also during 1968, which is the main year the game is set in, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. This blows racial tension through the roof. So now the society is divided directly in 2 and one half hates the other half and it's not good. Also the space race. Now the space race was going on at this time, and eventually in 1969 they landed the first man on the moon. Maybe on radio stations or other stuff like that, you might hear stuff like interviews or maybe other news broadcasts about how the space race is going on. I don't know, that would be quite cool. And finally, the last thing is that pre-orders are already happening. So the pre-orders for Mafia 3 are already in motion. You can actually go and pre-order from EB Games Canada right now. I'm not sure if Amazon or anything like that are pre-ordering yet, but to be honest, I thought Amazon would be, considering their history of constantly leaking games because of the pre-orders in the past. Sorry, Amazon. But that is the end of the video. That is 7 things you might not know. One extra thing, there's no multiplayer. It might be bad news for you, but actually it's good news for me. I do not want multiplayer in Mafia 3. Maybe some leaderboard system something like that, but that's as most I would go. I would not want multiplayer in Mafia 3. I think it's a story game. I think Mafia series is always about story, and so I just want them to focus on the story rather than trying to make multiplayer. That's just my opinion. Tell me what you think in the comments. But that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for checking out 2K Central. My name is Taylor, and I hope you have a good day.